Welcome to another How to Drive a Manual video. Ryan Schultz here, 2000 BMW M5 used for the video purposes. Anyways, it's April, I want to say 17th, 2012. It's a beautiful day in Hudson, Ohio. The sun is out, trees are blooming slowly, I can hear birds. The windows are down. I'll be putting them up and turning the radio off in just a moment. But today we're going to focus on rev matching. Stay tuned. Alright, first off, let me apologize for the camera work. It's very difficult to drive a manual transmission vehicle and hold a camera. We're in residential neighborhoods, probably the safest place I can do this in the middle of the day. Kids are at school. Today is a Wednesday, I want to say. So rev matching is generally used with downshifting. If you're looking to do this for racing purposes, well, if you have to look it up, you probably shouldn't be doing it, so don't use it for that. Really, we're going to focus on just driving around town. Say we're in third gear right now at about 26 miles an hour. If we want to shift to second, there's a couple ways to do that. We could just take our foot off the gas, put it in second, and let the clutch out. That's going to cause excessive clutch wear and slow you down probably more than you bargained for. So I'm going to turn down one of these streets right here. I don't really know this neighborhood very well at all. However, I do like what I see. It's pretty nice back here. And say we want to shift to second. Get that guy off my bumper there. So, firstly, you're going to push the clutch in. Once the clutch is in, you're going to rev the engine to where the engine would be in the new gear you're shifting to. So we're in third, we want to go to second, clutch goes in, we give it a little bit of gas and let the clutch out, nice and smooth like that. The difference is we're changing gears, and each gear has a different gear ratio. Note that first gear in your car at 5,000 RPM would probably be 20-30 miles an hour, whereas sixth gear at 5,000 RPM is going to be 155, 160, 170 miles an hour, of course, depending on your car. I happen to be driving this car, so it's a high speed. They're called gear ratios. Each gear is set up for a different speed, so the engine doesn't have to work as hard to attain faster vehicle speed. So as I approach a stop sign in second gear, push the clutch in, rev the engine to where it would be in first gear at this speed, and let the clutch out. This is a process that's going to take a pretty good amount of time. It's going to be a learning curve for you. Every car is different, and you should probably already be pretty comfortable with driving a manual in the first place if you're going to do this. That means pretty smooth shifting. You're not stalling the thing out all the time. You can handle it. So let's pick up a little bit of speed here. We'll get her to third gear at about 30. I'll wait for this road to straighten out, and then we'll do a downshift to second, like I did before. There's a beautiful house. Anyways, we've got a straight patch here, 29 miles an hour. Should we want to shift to second? I'll do this real slow. Clutch in, RPM where it would be in second, let the clutch out. I didn't even feel that shift. I will now head out on a non-residential street so we can get up 35, 40, 45 miles an hour or so. Look at that place. This is Middleton Road in Hudson, Ohio. For anybody wondering, there's very little traffic and of course no youngsters that play at this time of the day. Approximately the speed limit in fifth gear. This car is just over 1500 RPM. Really, we could shift to almost any gear from here. I really only recommend going down one, maybe two at a time if you're coming up to a stop sign or traffic light. What you don't want to do is decide, I want to go from fifth to first, and you're going to have to give the engine probably full speed at this speed, vehicle speed, and it's not going to do anything. You're going to be in a gear that's far too high. We could go to second here, just about 40 miles an hour in this car. I happen to know is about 4,000 RPM in second, so we would go clutch in, rev the engine to that speed. I over-revved it there a little bit. You could hear and see as I let the clutch out, it kind of backed down. Same thing with upshifting. Of course, we're not over-revving. We would just take our foot off the gas to go to, say, fourth, there at just below 2,000 RPM. Alright, so at about 40, maybe we want to go down to third. Of course, that's going to take less gas than it would to go into second. Again, clutch in, rev the engine to where it would be in third, and let the clutch out like that. Maybe now we want second, so a little more gas, let the clutch out, perfectly smooth. What we're doing, we're synchronizing the engine speed to the vehicle speed in gear X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you've got a 5-speed, or of course 6 if you're working with a 6-speed like I am. I'm going to make a right here and head into town, and we'll go from there. Downshifting only one gear at a fairly easy speed like this, and when we're in the higher gears, say 6th to 5th or 5th to 4th, is a lot easier. You may only need to add 500 RPM, maybe 1,000. When you're going from second to first, 5th to second, 5th to third, bigger changes like that. And I might add again, be careful that you don't over rev and choose a gear that's too low. That's totally going to depend on your driving style. If you're looking to take off, my get up and go gear right now would probably be third, or if I've got a Corvette ZR1 to me, I'd probably choose second. But right at 40 here in a 45, try not to piss too many people off. We will choose third again, and that's a nice and easy downshift. And of course, second then is going to require more gas like that. But as I said, we're just synchronizing the engine. There's pieces in the transmission called the synchros, and that's their job, to sync up the engine output speed to the gear speed at the vehicle speed. If that makes sense, I am not a transmission specialist. That's my understanding of it. What you want to do is be smooth. You don't want to over rev things. If you were to just take your foot totally off the gas right now, push the clutch in, choose a lower gear and let it out, like I said before, it's going to be excessive clutch wear and slow you down a lot more than you wanted. Reasons for downshifting. Like I said, maybe you want to pick up and go somewhere, get some more power out of the engine. Or two, you're just slowing down and you'd like to be in a gear that's more suitable for the speed. If you hit traffic, you anticipate something ahead, such as the red light that I'm coming up to behind a truck in a moment. Again, we've done this like 5 times, but why not? We'll go down to third, nice and smooth, barely even feel anything. Second's going to be more gas yet, and I didn't feel that either. And then upshifting, like I mentioned in the previous video, you just take your foot off the gas and eventually you'll get the timing right of letting the new gear up, so gear changes are seamless if you do it right. Notice how smooth the tachometer and speedometer should look when doing this right. We're in 4th gear right now. Downshifting to 3rd, really smooth. As a passenger or a driver of the car, you really shouldn't be able to feel it. 2nd is of course going to be a little bit harder to hit, but I did there without issue. Down to 1st at 30 miles an hour would be quite a bit of gas, and as you see, I was about 500 off there, and we did lose a little bit too much speed. At very low engine speeds, in terms of RPM, the changes that will need to be made to the engine speed to downshift maybe only 1 or 2 gears would be very lightly. We're going to go from 6th to 5th to 4th to probably 3rd. So to 5th, I only had to add a few hundred RPM, a little blip of the throttle there. To 4th, a couple more. I actually over revved it there. You saw it dropped once I let the clutch out. 3rd, pretty smooth, and I could go 2nd here, and again, that's going to be a lot more, up to 3,500 or so. That's a gear shift that probably won't be done very often and really shouldn't be done at higher speeds. 1st gear in this car is very short. 2nd gear is the go-to gear. But again, last time, 3rd, 2nd, matched up beautifully. Anyhow, as we approach downtown Hudson, we're in 2nd gear. 1st, usually, at least in this car, does take more gas, about 2,000 RPM, and then of course at a stop, we'll just shift into neutral. But anyways, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. Pretty short in comparison to the other one. It's just, as I've said several times, synchronizing the engine speed to the to your new gear that you're choosing. You just want to make that transition easier for the car and easier for the transmission, which involves setting up the engine speed before you let the clutch out in that new lower gear. Anyways, guys, enjoy. Good luck. It's going to take some practice and definitely some feel. Just practice. Practice makes perfect. It takes time. I still make mistakes, and trust me, it's a lot harder to do on camera than it is without using a camera. So thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys in a later video. Bye-bye.